Welcome to Accelerate OC, the only show focused on the people leading innovation in Orange County. Join our host, Carey Ransom, in his conversations with the trendsetters, entrepreneurs, investors, and leaders here, because it's time to Accelerate OC.
Good morning. Welcome to Accelerate OC. I'm Carey Ransom, and thanks always to our engineer, Paul, for making me and our guests here on Accelerate OC sound so good. Today's episode is sponsored by my friend Jeff Martin. Jeff's from Collective Genius, and they build high-performing teams for venture-backed startups and growth companies and venture capital firms. And he has a particular offering called Peak Planning that this time of year, as we're in the getting close to the fourth quarter of the year, a lot of my friend founders, CEOs are thinking about what are we going to do in 2020. And Peak Planning will help them as a facilitated leadership session really get the team focused and aligned and starting to think about the plan for the next year. And he can help on a 3-year vision, a 1-year plan, quarterly goals, also OKRs, and the tools to really track that. And so if you're interested in Peak Planning, hit me up, let me know. I'm happy to introduce you to Jeff. I'm super excited to have Travis Lindsey here today. And before we get to hear from Travis about his story and any many words of wisdom I'm sure he will have to share, let me tell you a little bit about Travis. He's an adjunct professor currently of entrepreneurship at Cal State Fullerton. And he's also a manager of the startup incubator there. He's also a founder of Titan Angels, which is an angel and seed investment fund based here in Orange County. And we definitely need more of that activity. So Travis and I will spend some time talking about that. He also is really tied into Cal State Fullerton. He has multiple degrees from there in the areas of business and entrepreneurship. He's been serving the community of students and entrepreneurs here in Orange County and particularly around the university there, mentoring them, helping them grow, and really supporting the next generation of business leaders and companies birthing out of Cal State Fullerton. You know, from my perspective, Travis is really that example of a servant leader for the innovation activity that we need more of here in Orange County. Travis, it's great to have you here today.
Well, Carey, thank you very much for having me here.
Awesome. Well, let's get to the starting line. Tell us about the work that you're doing. I introduced some of that, but tell us about the work that you're doing at Cal State Fullerton.
So it all rotates around a singular theme, and that is, trying to help people learn how to be entrepreneurs. And it's even more than that, unleash their innate entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. So I think that pretty much everybody has a little bit of an entrepreneur in them. And so what we do at Cal State Fullerton is we try to do that in the classroom, through competitions, through the incubator that we have, through guest speakers over at our incubator, and then also outside of the university with something like Titan Angels. So let's just deconstruct that a little bit. So for the competitions that we do, we're having one coming up October 26th. That's a Saturday. It'll be on campus, and it's called the Titan Fast Pitch. And it's open to students that are from middle school, high school, and the university community college level. And that's so great. We expect there to be, 100, 150 plus students competing in this competition. Last year we had 500, 600 people attending in total. So we do that kind of a competition just to challenge people, to challenge the students to take those first maybe tentative steps towards thinking about an idea and thinking about it in terms of how you can create that or change that idea, grow it into an actual opportunity. How can you, identify that problem, come up with a solution, and then develop that solution so that it's actually a business opportunity. And once they start thinking in that mode, they can really see a lot of new ways to look at the world. You just look around, you see a problem, and it's like, oh, somebody should fix that. But the entrepreneur, on the other hand, sees that and says, oh, I can make a business out of that. And that's a lot of entrepreneurship right there, is just problem solving and making it into a business. So with the competitions, we kind of just try to activate people, students, think and challenge them to think entrepreneurially. And then in the classroom, we take it a little bit of a few steps further than that. I'm teaching a couple of classes this semester. One of them is to our entrepreneurship students. Another one is to our non-business majors who want to learn about entrepreneurship. And in both situations, basically just taking them on a tour of how to go from the identification of a problem or an opportunity and how to develop that into an actual business. And so part of that is being able to articulate the problem, solution, and the opportunity. Part of it is just going through and figuring out how to develop all of that into something that is an actual business. And so I'll bring in guest speakers, lecture, do a lot of group work. And the group work part of it, I think, is really important for entrepreneurs for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
There are, of course, successful solopreneurs, solo entrepreneurs. But if you want to build a business of any real size and magnitude and have as much of an impact as possible, one of the things that you need to do is develop a team and,
That's right.
Learn how to work together in a team. So that is an important part of what we do in the classroom is have them work together in a team, learn how to manage those group dynamics, and how to become a leader within a team. So every one of my teams, they have a team leader, the person who came up with the idea for the business. And then below that, everybody else will be leading a different section of that plan. And so maybe it's marketing, maybe it's finance, maybe it's, whatever the case may be. And the reason why I do it that way is because, I want them to get a full, 360-degree view of what all it takes to launch a business and actually try to grow it. But two, with them leading different sections, they'll get that experience of, working together in those group dynamics, being responsible and accountable for what's going on. Let me see. Besides that, we have the CSUF Startup Incubator, which you mentioned. And we started that because we saw a need to, take what we do in the competitions and in the classroom and take that a step further. So we have students, we have members in our community who have great ideas. Maybe they're able to make it part of the way, but they just can't, flip that switch and figure out how to launch yet. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they just want, or maybe they can launch, but they just want that extra little bit of guidance and connection so that they can launch in the right way. So that's why we started the CSUF Startup Incubator. What we do there is if you are accepted into the incubator as a resident, you embark on a 6-month journey, basically. And so you'll have access to our offices over in Irvine and in Placentia. You'll get one of our student consulting teams. That's something we could talk about maybe a little bit later on. And I think the biggest benefit of working with the incubator is that you get a dedicated coach. And that's somebody who is one of our 700 plus mentors. They have tons of experience, either in a specific profession or as a startup founder themselves. Ideally, they've grown businesses. Mm-hmm. They've maybe even raised funds. So that is that coaching, I think, is the biggest benefit of working with the incubator. Besides that, I mean, it's 6 months, so we connect you with different people within our community, either on campus, within our mentor group, to the students, and to the outside resources that we have. I mean, I'll take an example from the classroom, but one of my students, and this would go for our incubator clients as well. One of our students, he's working on an export business. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to just reach out to one of the directors of like California exporting, one of those groups, and just like connect him within a couple of hours. And this is somebody who has been in the business, the export business, for decades, tons of experience, connected, everywhere that you can think of. And it was just great, just pretty much immediately just connected them with them. And that is one of the tremendous benefits of growing that kind of an entrepreneurial community. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely something we do at the incubator level and in the classroom as well. And then if you want, I could go into Titan Angels really quick.
Sure,
too.
I think a quick introduction to that would be helpful to the audience too.
Okay, so Titan Angels, we started it about 2 years ago now. It's a small fund. It's kind of a test. It's like a minimum viable product. We wanted to see if we were right that there were enough companies that were worthy of investment in, and I think we've definitely proved that.
That's great.
But then B, that those companies could yield tremendous returns. So the jury's still out on that. I mean, we're investing at a very, very early stage. I would say it's probably seed, maybe even some of them are pre-seed. So we're like 5 to 10 years out with all of those in all likelihood. But we started this because we saw that there wasn't as much capital going around in North Orange County. And so we launched that, and we found, a number of companies. I think last count, we've invested in 14 separate companies. And we invest in like the 25 to 50K range. And it's been a tremendous experience.
That's great. Well, it sounds like the building blocks are all there, which is amazing to help that student really in the experiential learning, help if they can move that into an actual real venture and company to be part of the incubator, and then even potentially receive some capital to help them grow and execute on that plan. So that seems like all the early building blocks of creating and birthing more companies out of Fullerton are there. Are there some success stories that you'd like to share at this point that are pointing you? I mean, you talked about some of these 14 companies, but are you seeing that really happening in a way that you and your colleagues there are saying, okay, we're definitely on the right track and we're seeing success? Absolutely.
So one that pops to mind immediately would be John Chi. He's created a company called Sonova Life Sciences, and the one sentence description of that company is that they're using your own stem cells to help with joint issues. And so John started this company in 2013 or 2014. Went through one of my colleagues, director John Bradley Jackson. I think you know who he is, JJ. Went through one of his classes at the MBA level, and really during that class learned how to go about and start a business. So he's worked on it since then. He's become a tremendous pitcher, and that he has entered probably dozens of different pitch competitions over the years and won quite a bit of money, and that's part of the way he's helped to fund himself. He has also gone on to receive funding from other sources as well, and just within the last year, he was actually in Y Combinator, and so that was a tremendous experience for him. He's learned a lot, but like I was saying, I mean, it's still an early stage company. He's hoping to really get his product out to market, next year. And so it takes some time, and that's something that, is hard for first-time entrepreneurs to wrap their head around, but John is extraordinary. So he, as far as I know, I've never seen him complain or, say anything like that. He's just kept on going, and it's been
well, 6 years,
great.
Right? I mean, that's a long
6 years. 7 coming up, and I mean, he's hopefully going to create something that will change the way medicine is done, and it'll help with joint pain, especially for people who are senior citizens suffering from arthritis or any other kind of degenerative disease. So if he gets it right, I mean, it could change how medicine's done for those people. Besides that, I mean, there are a ton of examples. On the front page, on the cover of the most recent Titan magazine, that's the magazine for Cal State Fullerton, is Victor Macias and his partner Christopher, who have created Nui Cookie. That's Nuy, and it is a keto cookie. They created it because they were looking for a way to basically have their keto cake and eat it too, that sort of thing. So it's a good tasting cookie. The early version of it was mentioned on the Joe Rogan podcast, so that's one of their first inflection
That's
points.
the number one podcast. I can aspire to get there one of these days.
I mean, how many viewers does he have for every podcast? Isn't it like millions and millions? Yeah, pretty much. But that's Price's Law for you. So, or is it Price's Law? I forget. The one where all the success pretty much goes to like the top 1% of 1%. They started this keto cookie company because they wanted to have basically a snack that they could eat while still on the keto diet. And so they went out. Neither one of them have any experience in consumer goods and consumables. And so they just went out and started talking with us. JJ was their first mentor and is still their primary mentor. And he has been able to really connect them with a ton of great people. So manufacturers, back office stuff, marketing, finance, all that. And that advising role has really helped them grow their business to the extent where last year they were on Shark Tank. Alex Rodriguez gave them an offer for $300K. I know that they've also raised money from other sources, and they are probably going to have revenues in the millions of dollars this year.
That's great.
And so it's just, have the idea, identify that problem, come up with a solution, and through their work with us, and obviously it was mostly their work and their skill as entrepreneurs, that they have been able to go out and build a business that looks like it's going to be successful for years to come.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit more about the teaching of entrepreneurship. You have somebody like John who's been at it for 6 years. That is a committed. That's really that historical definition of an entrepreneur that you probably can't teach, that level of grit and persistence. But as you're teaching it in the classroom, and it is, somewhat academic exercise, it sounds like you guys do a lot of the experiential learning, which I think is key to helping people kind of try on the idea of entrepreneurship. How do you help people realize that they're going to see a lot of walls that come up? They're going to have to really determine whether they've got the fortitude to persevere through that, because usually the ones that are successful are the ones that have to break through the inevitable walls that show up. And as I look at a lot of the startups I've been involved with, I've definitely had ones that I've learned from where, I walked away, and sometimes I think I walked away at the right time. Sometimes in retrospect, maybe I didn't persevere. So how do you help people really understand what this path is going to be?
Yeah, so it's not like a Karate Kid. I'm not Mr. Miyagi going out there, telling them to do whatever it was he told them to. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever actually seen that whole movie. I think I've
been a
seen
while
clips.
for me.
Yeah, wax on, wax off. Yeah, so we do a lot of that. I have them stand in front of the class, do the wax on, wax off stuff. No, I mean it's. Yeah, you are absolutely right. I mean, you learn entrepreneurship by going out and doing it. And so, I mean, I think I was talking with you earlier, maybe before the program started, about how we do a lot of group work. And for every one of our groups, it's 4 or 5 students. We have a mentor attached to each group, so it's very analogous to the experience you would get over at the incubator. And I mean, honestly, for most startups elsewhere, if you go to any incubator, you're going to be asked to, have a team. Probably you should. You're going to have mentorship, and you're going to have a bit of directed learning in most situations. And so that's what we do. For my students, what I'm doing is they have a loose agenda for every team meeting that they do. And it's just walking them through what you're trying to accomplish today, obviously. But it's connected with the lecture. And so this week, I had them focus on creating a business model canvas. just walking through that, figuring out what were the basics for each of the 9 parts of the canvas, and then assigning responsibility to each of the team members. I gave them brief introductions into what each of those categories means. But honestly, for them to learn, they're going to have to go out there and really figure it out, because the concepts themselves aren't that complicated. Everybody knows what revenue is and what different revenue streams are. The difficulty is in going out there and figuring out, maybe what your revenue streams are going to be. And for basically any business you can think of, there's going to be surprises, right? So you may go in there thinking that, oh, we're Amazon, we're just going to sell books online and that's going to be it. But you know what? 10 years down the road, you have the most lucrative cloud service in the world. So you never know. And so what I'm teaching my students is how to deal and work with and, potentially even thrive with that ambiguity. It's just keep your eyes open. You need to have some sort of guiding star why you're doing what you're doing, but don't become too rigid in how you plan. Because I think it was, who was it? It was Patton who said, something along the lines of, you got to have a plan, but the second you get on the battlefield, you basically throw the plan out.
Sure.
And so that's more or less what I'm trying to teach my students, is that, you need to go through that process of planning so that you have a better understanding of everything that it is that you're doing. But just realize that once you actually get out there and you actually start, trying to sell your product or your service, things are going to change.
That's right.
And you're going to have to be able to be nimble enough and smart enough to make those changes, and that plan will help you, because if you've done it correctly, you've explored all the different areas of it, and while you haven't uncovered everything that there is to uncover for the plan, maybe there's a different channel that you didn't know was going to exist. Maybe it didn't even exist when you started when you started your business. But as long as you have a clear conception of, the different parts of your business, you'll be able to more effectively deal with unexpected things.
Sure. So, Travis, one of the things that a lot of my audience asks about, and a part of what I'm really trying to do here on Accelerate OC is bring visibility to all these great programs like what's going on at Cal State Fullerton. And a lot of people here know of Cal State Fullerton but aren't affiliated, haven't plugged in there. How do you advise people in the community if they want to get involved in supporting entrepreneurs or supporting the university to plug into Cal State Fullerton?
That's a good question, and I think I was mentioning earlier, we do have 700 plus mentors officially that we work with, and then we have access to a bunch of different groups. Just had a lunch meeting with the leadership over at the North Orange County Chamber of Commerce earlier this week. We work with other organizations on campus, off campus, and so it's just all about trying to build up this entrepreneurial community. There's a great book that's about that. I think I forget the title right now, but I think it's like Startup Community or something like that.
I think Brad Feld wrote
Yes,
that.
You're right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So he's out there in, where's it, Boulder with Techstars. Yeah. But that's a great book. And in his book, he sees the university as a great place for space, but also as like a connectors.
That's right.
And so connect with us. I think my contact information, it's all over the web. Carey, I'm sure you're going to put it out on the podcast.
Sure.
So connect with me. Tell me how you want to become involved. We have clients that we work with, and just so you're not surprised, our clients do pay. It's a few $1,000, so it's not that bad at all. But we work with clients. We work with people who are mentors, guest speakers, people who want to be resources in different areas. So the best way to get in touch with us and to become involved is to just send us an email, set up a call. That is by far the best way.
That's great. Well, I will be an advocate. I have hired several people over the years from Cal State Fullerton and have found them to be incredibly effective, diligent,
That's good to hear.
hardworking, and super great assets to the teams. So
Awesome.
I'm a big fan and certainly will vouch for that. So unfortunately, Travis, I could sit here for the next several hours and chat with you about this topic. Paul's giving me the time sign over here, so we need to go to our final lap. I always ask my guests to share kind of a bit of advice or lesson that they've learned. So what's the biggest piece of advice that you'd love to give to entrepreneurs here in Orange County as they're trying to advance their idea, their business?
Well, just because I'm in this space with my students, I would say be comfortable with the ambiguities of entrepreneurship and life. You can't be 100% sure anything's going to happen. If you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans or something like that.
Sure.
So be comfortable with the ambiguities and just be comfortable with taking measured risks. That's the only way you're going to actually, grow your business or grow your relationships or anything like that. So, just be comfortable.
That's great. Well, Travis, thank you so much for taking us on this ride today and sharing your experiences and all the great things that are going on at Cal State Fullerton. I'm excited to find more ways to plug you and the Fullerton community in with the rest of Orange County. Thanks for leading by example here. Thanks for doing all you're doing to really advance entrepreneurs here in our community. You're definitely doing your part to accelerate OC. Welcome to the family.
Well, thank you, Carey.
You've just listened to Accelerate OC. Join our live recordings every Tuesday morning at accelerateoc.com or listen, like, and share anytime from your favorite podcast spot. Let's accelerate OC together.